Alright, so fill out the questionnaire. I'll get flashbanged, by the way, idiots. Thank you for participating in the feedback is important to us. Take a few minutes to okay. As of now, how satisfied are you with Wuthering Waves? I would say I'm somewhat satisfied. I'm not very satisfied, but I'm like a 7.5 out of 10 currently. Based on your experience with the current version, how satisfied are you with the following aspects? Combat, very satisfied. Progression, I'm somewhat satisfied. I know a lot of people are gonna say like dissatisfied with progression because of the echo issues, but I don't think it's that big of an issue. Story, keep it a buck and say neutral. We're neutral with the story. I don't think Acts 5 and 6 were good enough to make up for how weak 1 and 4 was. Again, 5 and 6 were absolutely phenomenal, but you can't take 20% of the story and say, oh, 20% of the story was good, so I'm satisfied, right? So I'm neutral. Jian and Yinlin's story quests were good. They were good, don't get me wrong. But again, even I feel they were still only 8 out of 10s. Like, I still think they were 8 out of 10s. Overall, we're neutral. Too long. I feel there was a couple of weak points in each of them, but I don't think they were that bad. Main story had a lot of unnecessary lore. Yeah, this may be a difference in philosophy, but they need to figure out how to show, not tell. Show, not tell is incredibly important when it comes to storytelling. And that's part of the issue is like why I think Acts 1 through 3, I think 3 is when Scar was like explaining the story. Everything was just like told to us, right? There was no good like showing of the story within like the story itself. It was just, oh, here's a bunch of different exposition dumps on why what happened, or this is why what's happening is happening, like things like that. Genshin has the issue too. I wouldn't know. I've only got 3 hours into Genshin. World exploration, very satisfied. The combat and the traversal in this game are definitely the strongest points. There's so much yapping because how the Chinese language is. Again, I'm no expert when it comes to stuff like this. I think like there's a difference in storytelling when it comes to different cultures. So I think there's stuff like that happening. Based on experience with the current version, how satisfied are you with the following aspects? Character art. I think it's got some of the best characters in the game, in the entire space. UI design, everyone already knows, it's basically a one-to-one of Genshin's UI. I've talked about this in my very first video. I talked about the UI in my very first video over a month ago. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it serves its purpose. I think the biggest issue is, and I don't know if you would even call this a UI issue, is like a lot of like the localization and how things are presented and how things are explained. But overall, I think the UI is pretty okay for what it needs to do. I would say somewhat satisfied. The icons were bigger and the intro skill and alerts were more seen. I completely agree. That would be my biggest wish list, alongside if there was an indicator of telling you when your teammates' ultimates were up, or even to another point, how much of their ultimate bar they already have built up. Because if you're not on the character, you have zero fucking idea how much of their ult they have. Scene art is incredibly good in this game. I think the fucking atmosphere in this game is so goddamn good. It is so good. The amount of variation between the different regions within the game is fucking phenomenal. Co-op experience. This one's tough. I really wish they leaned more into co-op. I really do. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. It's fun to run around with your friends and explore shit. I wish they would lean more into the stuff you're able to do within co-op. Do I have an answer for that? No. I don't have an answer for that. A co-op boss rush would be fun. I think that could be a cool event, like a permanent event, not necessarily like a temporary event. I think if they leaned into co-op, and I know some people disagree with this, but I think leaning into co-op would be so incredibly healthy for this game because of how fucking good it runs and how good it feels. So I'm gonna say I'm somewhat dissatisfied just with the overall co-op experience. You have no friends, and that's why matchmaking already exists within the game. So I think because matchmaking already exists, a co-op event would be okay because you could just matchmake into stuff. Right? I feel Tower Fantasy did that very well on launch. I didn't play past like maybe like a month or two on Tower Fantasy, but being able to like queue to go do like domains with people, I think was a very smart thing that they could have done. And again, that was an MMO, and I understand I'm probably comparing apples to oranges at this point, but I feel Tower Fantasy did that very well. Performance and optimization. This is a big one. Personally, for me, I'm very satisfied with it. Personally, being a content creator and being someone who sees all aspects of life, that sounds way more deep than it really needed to be. Seeing people on phones, on bad phones, on lower hardware, having issues with FPS drops and stutters and things like that. Obviously, I cannot say very satisfied in that regard because I know how the plight is for a lot of people. As I said earlier, this is probably the biggest thing that they do need to focus on. So I would say I'm torn between very and somewhat. because like I did an entire video on like going through like the specifications on the phones and like what you would be able to run it on, and Kuro, I don't want to say they lied, but they kind of misrepresented like the type of hardware and machines that you'd need to run this game. I don't know, I'd say somewhat. Beginner experience. So when it comes to the beginner experience, the story is the worst fucking part of it. The story is so fucking awful in the first few hours of the game that it is incredibly a shame, because that's when you really need to draw in your audience and make sure that they fucking fall in love with the game. I feel the story, if anything, was probably the biggest issue and the biggest pain point that Kuro could have experienced, and probably turned a lot of people off from trying the game further. This was probably their biggest fuck up with how weak the story was within the first 2 hours. Because if you're not getting those people to love your fucking game in the first 2 hours, you probably just lost someone that could have potentially played your game for, you know, hours upon hours. Like, for them, you don't care about the story. Yeah, I agree. Like, a lot of people don't care about the story in these types of games, but like the casual player and like the everyday person, you need to find some way to get them hooked on your game. And I don't think for a beginner experience you can get them hooked with like combat. At least they have a skip button. They did add a skip button. That is true. So I'm gonna say I'm neutral on this. This is my first. I'm gonna pull a Mr. Poke and I'm gonna sit on the fence. I'm gonna sit on the fence with this one. I don't like being a fence sitter, but I see both good and bad. As of now, what device do you primarily use to play Wuthering Waves? I mostly play on PC. I wish there was I play on both. Wait, no. I wish there was a play on PC and occasionally play on phone. I feel like that would have been a good metric. Well, this is kind of it. That's kind of it. We'll settle with that. Because I have played it on my phone a pretty decent chunk. I have played it a pretty decent chunk on my phone. How often do you play Wuthering Waves with a controller? Never. How satisfied are you with the controls when using a mouse and keyboard? I'm pretty satisfied. I don't know if I have any immediate concerns that come to mind. Some of the targeting and the camera issues are a little janky, but I'm somewhat satisfied. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it feels like 90% there. As of now, what do you find most enjoyable about the game? The scenery is amazing. I love the music. I will say though about the music is good. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely fucking love the music in this game, but there's really no music outside of like the opening soundtrack that like I can sort of recall from memory. It's all just like ambiance and like background noise, which is good, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like I could sit down and be like, oh yeah, I know what that song is. I can hear it in my head. And I will say a lot of it, or not a lot of it, but one of the issues that actually a friend pointed out to me recently, which was pretty interesting, and I kind of agree and I kind of disagree. So this is OST 33 within the game, right? This is OST 33. Like, we all know this. We're all familiar with this. We've heard it a million times, right? I can point this out because I feel like that fucking plays 99% of the goddamn time when I'm playing the game. One of my friends actually sent me this. It's not a 1-for-1, but it's kind of close. It's not 1-for-1, which I will give it to them. It is not a 1-for-1. Same vibe, but not the same track. It's even more than just the vibe, right? It's not even just the same vibe. It's like it's pretty fucking close. Yeah, it's very close. Very close. Anyway, not exactly for my point or whatever, but just again, the music is good, but again, it's not stuff that like sits with me, right? I don't think about the music when I'm not playing the game. It's just good background ambiance. Flashy and satisfying combat visuals. I like it. I will say it's not a 10 out of 10, that's for sure. I feel it's fucking close. It's very good. Exploring the open world, solving puzzles. I feel it's good. It's a lot of fun. Echo gameplay. If you would have asked me this same question 2.5 weeks ago, I would have clicked this, but I don't think there's anything enjoyable about farming. I don't think there's anything enjoyable about farming. The echo skills themselves, I don't like them. They're fun, but the implications, that's probably the worst word to use for it, but things like being locked, like kind of like locked within like using the animation where you're doing them, I'm not a huge fan of. Just like little things like that. Chaining characters with weapons, I think they're doing an incredible job on that. Where you are now in the game, what do you think about Wood? Do you enjoy playing it? Or are you still playing it while looking for something else? I still enjoy playing it, don't get me wrong. But I will say, to the average person and to people like me, there's maybe only 30 to 60 minutes of the game that's like actually like meat and potatoes of like playing the game, right? Probably even less. You can get your daily done in 5 minutes, and you can get all of your wave plates done in 5 minutes. So unless you're like going for farming, like specific echoes, or going for, you know, playing with your friends, or just, you know, doing other things, there's really not a lot of content left for, I would say, I don't want to say the hardcore characters, because I feel like a lot of casuals are getting into the situation as well. So those 30 to 60 minutes, I still enjoy it. World design, love it. I'm a slut for post-apocalyptic stuff. I do wish they leaned more into the post-apocalyptic world. I wish they leaned into it more. I want shit to be brutal. I want shit to be depressing. I want shit to be sad. I feel they were getting really close with Jian's story quest, and kind of even Yin Lin's quest, with the idea about the puppets, right? The puppets and like people like being so fucking depressed that their loved ones died, they have to settle for animatronics. Love it. Merch. Merch? Merch? How are you gonna say merch and event minigames in the same sentence? What the fuck? This has to be a translation issue. Merch. They probably meant events and event minigames. If I had to guess, they probably meant event and event minigames. I don't know. Not a fan of them. Not a fan of the events. I will say though, Kuro needs to get some fucking merch out already. Event rewards? Oh, could be. Could be event rewards. That does make a lot of sense. Kuro does need to get some fucking merch going on though. I'd buy the fuck out of some Wuthering Waves merch, I'll tell you what. Character art. Character art's very good. Fucking love it. Co-op with friends. I don't think it's very super enjoyable with how limited it is. Character combat is obviously a yes. Scar merch me broke. Man, they need to make full-size fucking figures for all of the characters in the game. If they made full-size character models, that would be fucking amazing. Encore's dolls. Encore's plushes would go hard as fuck. I would even buy those. I'd buy the fuck out of those, and I'm not a big plush guy. Encore doll plushes. Oh my god, that'd be so cute. I wonder if anyone has made them yet. Surely someone has made them. Oh my god, these are cute, but they don't hit as hard because they're crochet. They're cute as fuck though. These are fucking adorable. A plush of the thing living inside Rover. Yeah, I agree on that front as well. Holy fuck. I wonder how, do they have any pictures of what they actually look like? Of course they don't. $400. These look like maybe like plastic though. They look like plastic. Resin. Never mind. The resin. Pretty cute. Trust me, bro. This is real. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. Merch would go hard. I'm surprised there's 0 official merch. Interactive combat experience. Love it. Character design. Love it. Leveling. Pros and cons. If this didn't include echoes, I would probably say yes. But because it includes echoes, I'm gonna hold off on it. Roguelike gameplay. Yes. 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 Depths of Elusive Realm, probably the best endgame currently. It's so fucking fun. I actually may go do it again just for fun. Mixing and matching echoes and characters make different builds and comps. It's fun, but with how things are currently balanced, I can't say it's enjoyable because it's literally just, you put the purple set on the purple guy, and you put the moonlight set on the sub DPS guy, and you put the heal set on the heal guy. I wish things were a little bit more complex when it comes to that situation. Like, for example, the attack percent set. They either need to buff the set, redo how attack scaling works, or fix it. So I will not be clicking yes on that. Controls. I feel the controls are pretty responsive overall. Not enjoying echo gameplay. It leans into combat. Yeah, but they're not the same. I think the echo gameplay, I don't find it enjoyable, right? Like, I don't like getting locked into animations. Some of the animations are very clunky and take too long. There's a lot of weirdness surrounding like echo abilities. I'd rather just not use them most of the time. Challenging gameplay and combat. Hologram bosses. Hologram bosses are very fun. Story, we will not be saying yes on story. And cool. Bell Echo is the best echo in your opinion. I love the Bell Echo just because it doesn't fucking animation lock you. It's quick. It gets it out over, done. Some don't need you to transform. The majority of them do though. Like the good ones. Like, yeah, you can kind of like probably get away with using like three stars and 1 stars, but about the Mech Echo, I don't think I've ever used the Mech Echo. How likely am I to continue playing the game? Very likely. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, they're really going in on this, huh? I'm not gonna yap so fucking long about this. We're gonna speedrun it. Not even halfway through. What's your goal motivation for continuing to play the game? My goal motivation for continuing to play the game. Holograms, Elusive Realm, open world combat, enjoying the scenery, experiencing the story, Tower of Adversity, open world. Oh, How satisfied am I? Damn, that's so depressing. It's all depending on your answers. Oh no. Act 5 was better than Act 6. Yeah, I agree. How would you rate your experiences with Act 1, Chapter 4? I'm gonna keep it a buck. Everything in Chapter 4 was pretty mid. It's a 16 personalities test. Oh shit. What do you find unsatisfactory about Chapter 4? Chapter 4, remind me, was when Scar was arrested and put in jail, right? I believe that was when he was put in jail. Oh yeah, Chapter 4 was when fucking Jinshi fucking chatted at us for fucking 30 minutes. Yeah. Okay, this is exactly what I thought. The dialogue was very lengthy. When Jinshi was talking at me on the fucking roof, that was the worst thing I have ever had to experience in my life. I don't think the story at that point was confusing. I don't think it was too simple. Weird plot elements. Suspense. I thought it was pretty good with the scene with Scar. The logic of the story is flawed as plot holes. I don't think so. The worldview of the game isn't effectively showcased. Yes. Rover is not involved enough in this specific chapter. What did you find unsatisfactory about the character performance in Chapter 1, Act 4? Characters lack motivation. I don't think so. The performance isn't very appealing. No. Characters don't have a strong presence. No. Characters don't interact well. Yeah. Fuck, I'm so torn on this one. Well, no, they interact enough. None of these are very on point of why I didn't like it. We find unsatisfactory with the cinematic performance. What the option icons mean? What the fuck does that mean? Character movements, expressions, and lip syncing. The lip syncing is fucking awful, but that's to be expected, but we're still gonna call it out. Frequent long text, yes. Music and sound to fit the story, didn't have any issues with that. Camera angles, whatever. Atmosphere in the story feels lacking or doesn't make sense. I'm gonna select it. I don't necessarily feel it doesn't make sense, but I feel like the gravity of the situation isn't expressed enough. Character movement, expression, like singing feel unnatural. Didn't I just... Oh, this is a better one than the left one. There are too many cutscenes and dialogue, yes. Too many black screen expositions. I don't remember any expositions in this, but I feel like there was one or two. I feel like there was a couple in this one. Like this one, yeah, that one, I remember that. I believe there was one during the library, one at Jinshi. This to me, these black screen expositions are so fucking lazy. They're so goddamn lazy. Like, it's just an animation and voice acting shortcut, so they don't have to fucking put work into it. I hate it. I don't like it. God, guys, why did I be honest? Why did I be honest with this survey? I just wanted 50,000 credits. I just wanted my shell credits. I didn't want to have to fucking do an essay. We find unsatisfactory about the quest experience of quest routes are too convoluted. No. Give feedback in the survey. The survey is too long. True. The quest routes are too empty. I'm gonna say yes. The library part was so fucking boring. Too much side content. No. Combat and puzzles are too difficult. No. Instructions are unclear. No. Too many lengthy cutscenes and dialogues. Yes. Music, sound effects. Nothing bad about the music and sound. Do you have any feedback or other suggestions about the main quest experience? The first few chapters of the main quest were significantly boring, and personally, I feel that you may have lost a ton of players during the first few hours of the game. The first few hours of any gaming experience are where you need to capture the players' interest and keep them on the hook to make sure they continue to come back to your game. Which of the following gameplays event have you experienced? All of them. How satisfied am I with the Overdash Club? Somewhat dissatisfying. So I think the rewards were okay, but the event itself was dog shit. What did you find unsatisfactory about the Overdash Club? Not entertaining. Too difficult. That's wild. Where's too easy? There it is. The next line down. Where's too easy? I need too easy. Oh, it's the next line down. Gameplay doesn't teleport me back to the track when I fall. I think I had that issue, but it's not that big of a deal. There isn't enough track variety. True. Camera angles during the gameplay feel awkward. I didn't have any camera issues. Gameplay doesn't teleport me back to the starting point. That would have been good. It's a minor thing, but it would have been good. Gameplay is too far from the teleportation point, which is inconvenient. Disagree. I don't like Park Store. Disagree. Cool. How satisfied are you with alloy smelt? Fuck, I don't want to fence it. My gut reaction is neutral, but leaning somewhat dissatisfied. I'm happy with the rewards, but I'm dissatisfied with the overall gameplay. I think I'm gonna say neutral. What do you find unsatisfactory about alloy smelt? The gameplay levels lacked variety. True. A lot of it was just switching in and out whenever your forte was up, and then the last 3 or 4 were just, oh, use your echo, spam your echo abilities. How do they F up the translation with the required points? Who knows? I'm 0% surprised anymore when it comes to Kuro and translation issues. My only hope is that a lot of this in like 1.0 was already pre-translated, and that 1.1 going forward, we won't have these types of issues. Can only hope. Gameplay is too difficult. No. The Sonosphere buffs are not noticeable enough when triggered. True. And this is a problem with the game overall, right? Just buffs in general. It's fucking impossible. Not literally impossible. I'm using this as a hyperbole. It's basically impossible to see what fucking buffs you have on yourself and what these buffs fucking do. And yeah, you'll say, oh, but there's floating red lines around your character. Oh, you get a little icon above your HP. Not enough. Gameplay's not entertaining enough. True. Too easy and lacks a sense of achievement. I think I'm gonna agree with this one. The fact of only needing, what did you only need, 90k? You needed 90k to get all the rewards when there was 9 levels, gives you an average of 10k per level. 10k per level was a fucking joke to do. The description are hard to understand, yes. And this is a problem overall with the game. The entire game has issues with how wordy and how lengthy things are. Things don't need to be 7 or 8 paragraphs long to get the point across. And again, this may all come back to the translation issues, right? I don't know how they've shown in China, in Chinese languages. These descriptions need to be concise, to the point, and that's it. They are far too wordy, they're far too lengthy, and not only is this an issue with the Sonosphere buffs, this is an issue with the entire fucking game. Trial characters listed too far down, I don't think that was an issue. Gameplay entrance is hard to find, no. Playing it takes too much time, no. Combat is not satisfying enough. I'm gonna switch from too easy to not satisfying enough, because I think this is where I wanted to go with this. How satisfied are you with the text quality of Wuthering Waves? The text quality. The text quality. How do I feel about the text quality? I need to think about this one for a second. I need to think about this one and pull up an example of the text quality, because I feel it's okay. Like, I feel there's really nothing inherently wrong with this. The quality. But it's specifically saying the text quality. It's not asking about the dialogue. It's asking about the quality. Oh, see, this could be another fucking translation thing. Are they asking about how I feel about the wording, or how I feel about the color of the text in the game? The font size and style. That's exactly what I was thinking. The font size and style. That's such a weird question to ask, right? Am I fucking crazy? Is that a weird question to ask? Like, I think it's fine. I think the text and the quality in this game is fine. I've never had a trouble reading it. Only issue that I will say about this game, and I don't know if I could find it within this video, is that a lot of the time when the text gets too long, it'll cut off. It'll get cut off like towards the end, and you won't be able to read all of it. People say they didn't like the font. The font's fine. What the fuck? I think it's fine. We'll say somewhat satisfied because of the 3-line issue. The 3-line issue is the biggest issue that I have. I hope they ask about it. Yes! When there is more than 3 lines of dialogue, specifically in the English language, the text will cut off on the 4th line and will be completely unreadable. Amazing. What content are you looking forward to experiencing in Wuthering Waves in the future? Yes. Tougher challenges. Fucking please. More combat mechanics. Please. I have a feeling these are all going to be yes. I have a feeling these are all gonna be yes. New bosses, new main quests, new areas. Yes, yes, yes. This is a no-brainer. This is kind of a dumb question. And maybe I'm taking it a little bit too far, but I think literally all of these I want in the game. Others, well, we want dating simulator. Boom. Any other feedback or suggestions? I have a feeling this is like the last question. The translation into English and weak optimization for weaker NPCs and mobile devices is arguably two of the most important factors you need to be working on in the current iteration of the game. Act 5, 6 of the game were great and show us that you are on the right trajectory with fixing the game, considering the weaker acts of 1 through 4. I don't want to get too into the weeds on it. Parry bugs, shit like that, whatever. I don't want this to become a long-worded essay. 120 FPS. Bring back 120 FPS. Happy? Oh, thank God. Thank God we did it. I will say, guys, that was probably the most feedback and the most, like, criticism I've ever given into a survey. Like, don't get me wrong, we've all taken surveys in the past, right? Like, the vast majority of us just put, oh, everything's a 9, you guys did amazing, yada, yada, yada. I don't think I've ever put that much thought or energy into a survey. So, Kuro, if you're listening, please read my survey specifically. Only my survey. Don't read anyone else's, because they're wrong. Read my survey. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, they're really going in on this, huh? Kiss myself? Alright. Wait, hold on. I think it's fucked up. Alright, hold on. How do I do this? Anyway.
Huh? Huh?
Juju just says, okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't know why. Okay. I don't know why okay is so funny to me. Just okay. 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 With freaky shit, he did freaky things to chat. You gotta join my Patreon to get freaky things done to you.